Who knew a tiny car and a long desert road could lead to something soul-stirring? We weren't looking for adventure that day, but in Death Valley, the land has a way of awakening a hunger for beauty you didn't know you had. Two travelers, one Honda Civic, a winding ribbon of asphalt coiled through sun-blasted canyons. We came chasing colors on a map, but found something more layered and complex, like the land itself. This was Artist Drive, a road where the earth becomes a canvas and time becomes a brush. The desert opened before us, a broad stage of silence and heat. Badwater Road whispered beneath the wheels, its emptiness a promise. Then, like a secret revealed, an unassuming turnoff, Artist Drive. It started slow. A single-lane road curved gently, luring us deeper. The Black Mountains rose on both sides, their rugged shoulders brushing the sky. I leaned forward, my heart thumping. This wasn't just a drive. It was a descent into magic. Suddenly the road twisted, dipped, and danced like it had a will of its own. The Honda groaned on the incline, then coasted into a canyon corridor of reds and golds. We were inside a painting, and every bend was a new brushstroke. Rock walls tightened around us like cathedral. The sun struck angled edges, casting shadows like ink. I held my breath. Even silence feels holy in places like this. Around a bend, the valley opened wide. The road sloped gently through ochre and sandstone, as if guiding us into a dream. We were no longer in California. We were in a Martian watercolor. Then we saw it, a cluster of parked cars huddled on the roadside, as if magnetized. Strangers wandered the rocks, small as ants against the vibrant cliffs. And just beyond them, an otherworldly sight shimmered, Artist's Palette. We parked behind a dusty SUV and stepped out. The dry air kissed our skin like parchment. Ahead, a ravine yawned between us and the colors of a living masterpiece. We followed a trail of footprints across the gravel. At the edge, we stopped and gasped. Lavender, teal, burnt orange, rose gold, all layered like sediment in a dream. They call it Artist's Palette for a reason. From our perch above a ravine, the mountain looked like God's abandoned canvas. The colors weren't painted. They were born. Geology, someone whispered nearby. Volcanic ash. Hydrothermal forces. Minerals oxidized by time and heat. But knowing the science didn't dim the wonder. If anything, it deepened it. We stood still for what felt like ages. The sun played across the rocks, igniting purples into pinks, greens into gold. Even my breath felt different, as though I was inhaling color. We scrambled down to the ravine floor. The ground was soft, crushed by centuries of wind and water. I touched the lavender stone. It crumbled slightly, fragile like chalk. The Artist's Palette was quiet, but not still. A breeze stirred loose grains into the air, catching light like glitter. I half expected the rocks to speak. Other travelers wandered past us, some silent, others wide-eyed and laughing. It felt like we were all part of a shared secret, strangers united by wonder. On the right, deeper pinks swirled into warm creams. The textures were layered like cake frosting, soft, lush, and unexpectedly delicate. My fingers itched for a brush or a camera, or just time to hold still. Back on the road, the colors continued. But now I noticed the road itself, how it weaved like a dancer through stone. There was a rhythm here, a choreography to the curves and climbs. We drove slowly, almost reverently. Even the engine seemed quieter, as if the car itself was in awe in places. The canyon walls rose so high I felt swallowed. And then, unexpectedly, an opening. The road spat us onto a high ledge with panoramic view. Salt flats shimmered in the distance like spilled diamonds. Here, the earth changed again. Colors gave way to vastness, and we saw the sky at last. It was blue, endless, and unbearably bright. It was here we paused again. Two travelers, quiet in the car, trying to process what we'd seen. And then one of us whispered,
"Let's do it again."
There was no hesitation. We turned around at the end of the loop, and re-entered the mouth of the road. This time, we noticed new shadows, subtler colors, textures we missed before. This wasn't repetition. It was discovery multiplied. The landscape changed with every angle of the sun, every shift in our attention. Funny how beauty works. The more you look, the more you see. And sometimes seeing it twice is just not enough. We talked less the second time. There was a kind of reverence now, a deeper respect for silence, and for the land that had waited eons to show us its colors. The road, narrow as ever, kept surprising us. One moment it rose steeply, tipping us toward the sky. The next, it sank like a whisper between canyon walls. We passed other cars now, their windows filled with cameras and wonder-struck eyes. We were all part of this strange pilgrimage, drawn by beauty, held by mystery. Eventually, we stopped again. We got out not for the pallet, but for a quiet curve with golden walls. There was no viewpoint name, but it was ours. We watched as the sun slowly lowered itself behind jagged ridges. The colors deepened. Crimson sharpened, teal darkened to jade. This time, no one else was there. I looked over at the Civic, dusty now, sun-faded. It had climbed and dipped and twisted with us. It looked tired, but proud. We returned to Badwater Road just as dusk fell. The spell broke gently. No jolt, just the sense that we were leaving something sacred behind. On the drive back to Furnace Creek, we said little. Not out of fatigue, but fullness. Some landscapes don't ask for words. They just ask to be remembered. Back at our hotel, I tried to describe it to someone. I said, it's like driving through a painting that's alive. They smiled. I think they understood. Later, I looked up the science again. Manganese for purple, hematite for red, iron for gold. But the formulas didn't feel like enough. Because here's the truth. You don't visit Artist Drive just to learn. You visit to feel. You visit to remember what beauty looks like when it has no agenda, no filter, no crowd, just color, time, and space. And maybe a dusty little Honda carrying your awe. If you go late in the day. Let the sun do its final masterpiece. Let the land unveil itself one last time, just for you. Take water, sunscreen, a wide-brimmed hat. But most importantly, take your time. Let the drive take you, not the other way around. Because in the end, Artist Drive isn't just a road. It's a reminder that the earth, in all its silence and stone, can still surprise us. And maybe, if we're lucky, change us.